Our daily devotional and Bible reading for May 27th. Our reading today comes from the Gospel of John, chapter 13. We'll be reading verses 1 through 17. Now before the feast of the Passover, when Jesus knew that his hour had come to depart out of this world to the Father, having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. During the supper, when the devil had already put it into the heart of Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, to betray him, Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands, and that he had come from God and was going back to God, rose from supper. He laid aside his outer garments, and taking a towel, he tied it around his waist. Then he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and to wipe them with the towel that was wrapped around him. He came to Simon Peter, who said to him, "Lord, do you wash my feet?" Jesus answered him, "What I am doing you do not understand now, but afterward you will understand." Jesus said to him, "You shall never wash my feet." Jesus answered him, "If I do not wash you, you have no share with me." Simon Peter said to him, "Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head." Jesus said to him, "The one who has bathed does not need to wash except for his feet, but is completely clean. And you are clean, but not every one of you." For he knew who was to betray him. That is why he said, "Not all of you are clean." When he had washed their feet and put on his outer garments and resumed his place, he said to them, "Do you understand what I have done to you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right, for so I am. If I then, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example, that you also should do just as I have done to you. Truly, truly, I say to you, a servant is not greater than his master, nor is a messenger greater than the one who sent him. If you know these things, blessed are you if you do them." Now some thoughts for today. There's much to be said for the life given to service. Our nature sometimes wars against such things as sacrifice, service, and giving, and the like. We're encouraged, though, when we see such acts that are second nature in people's lives. They do not bustle about looking for the limelight. It is not their intention to seek out notoriety for all their deeds done. They are appreciative when the recognition comes, but it is not the driving desire for their lives given to service. In an unprecedented action, Jesus takes on the form of a servant to wash the disciples' feet. Who could imagine the Son of God, the creator of the universe, stooping to the level of a common slave to serve lowly man? Yet what other action could Jesus have done to show the disciples what he meant by becoming the diakonos, the Greek word for servant? Peter bristles at the notion that he would submit himself to Jesus in this way. "Lord, do you wash my feet?" Although Peter's intentions were somewhat honorable, he missed the point of the lesson. Jesus answered and said to him, "What I do you do not realize now, but you shall understand hereafter." But Peter's response was, "Never shall you wash my feet." Not unusual, since the disciples on many occasions had discussions about greatness and positions in the kingdom. Consider what was said in Mark chapter 9 and verse 34. But they kept silent, for on the way they had discussed with one another which of them was the greatest. And now Matthew chapter 20 and verse 21, as Jesus talks to the brother's mother. And he said to her, "What do you wish?" She said to him, "Command that in your kingdom these two sons of mine may sit, one on your right and one on your left." It is the towel that Jesus uses here to show the disciples that it was not an act that was beneath the dignity of the coming kingdom. Though that cultural icon, the towel, in the first century is foreign to our world today, it is still a symbol of humility that we should follow. Now consider this question for the day. Are you of the servant mindset? And finally, a thought to meditate for this day. Look for ways to serve others today. And those are our thoughts for today, May 27th.